It's 15:36 on the 4th of November, and I am still uploading with regard to the crime that's being caused against my crime prevention. So this crime is constitutional. It's a wrongdoing against the Constitution that is culminating in quite a lot of wrongdoings. It's also abuse against the human rights in the Declaration, and there are also offences against the Women and Children's Charter. Now, we're all aware of the laws that be. We're all aware of the crime prevention that has arisen since my child was illegally separated from me, and the issue of this community in the southwest of Ireland, a clique of social influencers and trendsetters, as they might see themselves, unfortunately setting a bad example to children. So as I'm an educator with the Department of Education, I have a very huge concern about people being set a bad example that offends civil society principles. From a mental health practitioner's perspective, those that are in recovery and being of neurotic and preoccupied offences against my good name, character and reputation, I have huge concerns as well in that regard. So the Justice Department that has recently updated information with regard to our safety as a peacekeeper, I've kept a note of the crime prevention endeavours that the Federation and Fellowship have duly respected in this society, on this island and abroad. So the Department of Justice has done a noble act to advertise the development, to publicise the development, to relay the development of our safety being safeguarded and prioritised from people that are disturbing the peace and that are antagonising situations or overstepping lines, offending protocol or anything of the sort. In lay law, in lay terms, that's a wonderful development, and in terms of Royal Protocol, there's a little bit more expected, especially when there is such an amount of humanitarianism that has arisen from my experiences, strengths and hopes. So there's a bit of an issue being caused for the Department of Justice, really. The Department of Justice is aware of what has happened in this community prior to 2017. Some people are telling themselves awful lies, awful untruths, and that's offending people's intelligence. So those people that are choosing to work with dishonest information are regressing, unfortunately, and that's going to jeopardise the success and safety of Brexit and COVID-19. I am concerned that the Department of Justice hasn't addressed the issue of crime I'm experiencing. Constitutional wrongdoings are quite dangerous for the democracy, and my recovery and reform input has saved people's health and wealth. If we remember very correctly what was happening with the Garda Síochána prior to January 2017, the Department of Justice, this island has told itself a few untruths that aren't honest and respectful of the reality, and that insults people's intelligence. So as I've said, I have a hierarchy of needs. There are obligations to my birthrights, there are obligations to my good name, character and reputation, and people offending that with disinformation or defamation are a disservice, unfortunately, to the safety of Brexit and COVID-19. So we've had menaces and we've had nuisances and we've had pests making problems that haven't been very smart or safe for everyone's safety. So unfortunately, these nuisances have contaminated our well-being, and that's a sad sign of the times. From a sociological perspective, I have no other way to describe the culprits causing crime against my nuptials. Predators is a very sinister explanation, but those offending mental health and health and wealth recovery, many years and hours and effort and energy has saved a lot of people's lives, and I'm so happy and pleased that people's lives have been prospered because of my endeavours. But unfortunately, it's all at risk now because of, I suppose, upstarts or false starts of people not addressing their responsibility for bad behaviour and suffering from identity issues. So there's a very dangerous matter, unfortunately, of compromise and jeopardise. So those that are working with the ailment and the illness of lying, those people that are suffering from lies, I hope they know where this goes after what's gone already in the past, and there have been casualties. So there's health and wealth recovery as a consequence of me. It's at risk. It's a sad sign of the times. Those that aren't responsible or mature and that are taking from my credentials and qualifications. I'm only 42 years of age, and I am a spring chick, to say the least, in the greater scheme of things with the more qualified elders of the United Nations. But I have been a humanitarian for more than 2 decades. So those that are offending me are offending all the health and wealth I have recovered as a consequence of the crime that I've inexcusably experienced. So it's quite serious what's going on. Any more corruption in this community after what's happened, and I can say that I'll be supporting people on my farm holdings in Ardfort or Kilflynn. So those that are offending the Roman Catholic Church or offending my nuptials and offending my son, unfortunately they're offending families that have prospered and been saved from very dangerous issues in this society, I suppose, at home and abroad. So zero tolerance is being offended, crime prevention is being prevented or offended, and I still have a hierarchy of needs that has to be addressed by a government that's living off legislation from me. So that legislation is at risk as well. So the sooner that people understand the reality, the better we all will be for the future prospects of our safety, sobriety and sanity. So those offending security with crime are a disservice to justice. So this is just another upload with regard to the mental illness of hate crime and people suffering from identity issues that are taken from my credentials and qualifications and that are a liability to Brexit and COVID developments from the health and wealth recovery I initiated when people were suffering from very serious malaise that wasn't in the best interest of blood or bones. So this issue is to do with health reform, mental health reform, HSE reform, the whole lot, and that originated from the false arrest I experienced in January 2017 that the government of this state, or the representatives of this island, are refusing to address their shortcomings, and they're offending again and again and again, and they're taking a salary for their wrongdoings against the island of Ireland and its representatives that have saved people's lives and wealth. So this is a really dangerous situation for people. It's a sad sign of the times that crime is being supported against a person who has helped people's lives prosper and that has protected people's lives. That's a part of my role, my service to the state as a royal humanitarian. So those that are a liability and that are how can I describe? They don't know the extent of the legislation they're using or the dangers of what has been incurred, being inactive. Those of non-action, refusing to do what they're supposed to be doing, should really hang up their boots and just give up. Those that aren't doing their jobs properly aren't safe in any way taking a salary for a service they're not providing. Everybody knows that. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. So those that are continuing to choose non-action, I hope they are aware of the dangers of those being supported that are of identity theft. My name is Maria McElligott. I'm a female married mother. I'm 40.